Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ballard High School for today's varsity boys basketball game. Today, the Ballard Bombers host the Wildcats of Carlisle. The Wildcats are members of the Raccoon River Conference and entered tonight's game with a record of 2 wins and 13 losses. The Wildcats head coach is Jordan Buell. He is assisted by Chris Carpa, Michael Otkin, Jake Berger, and Dan Clark. The Ballard Bombers are also members of the Raccoon River Conference and have a season record of 12 wins and 1 loss. The head coach of the Bombers is Jeff Schertz. He is assisted by Tron Scott, Aaron Lyons, Wyatt Weeks, and Sam Weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, the officials for this afternoon's battle on the Hartman are Ken Carlson, Philip Jones, and Rusty Hornemont. And now for the starting lineups, first our guests, the Wildcats of Carlisle. Starting off with the guard position, a junior, number 1, Tyson Guard. Also playing guard, junior, number 2, Cole Osterhoff. Playing guard, junior, number 4, Carter Brenison. And for their position, a senior, number 10, Carson Dunn. And rounding out the lineup at a forward position, a senior, number 11, C.J. Whistler. A senior, number 2, Mason Murphy. Playing forward for the Bombers, a senior, number 10, Sam Peterson. At a guard position, a senior, number 12, Carlisle. A senior, number 30, Cade Miller. And rounding out the line for the center position, a senior, number 32, Connor.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the hangar, the home of your Ballard Bombers, for this afternoon's Raccoon River Conference battle between your Ballard Bombers and the Carlisle Wildcats. I'm your play-by-play announcer, Brock Bierman, alongside special guest, former head varsity basketball coach, said that in a weird way, for the Ballard Bombers, Chris Deason.
Yeah, thanks, Brock. Good to be here. And the Bombers open with a special starting lineup today, going with 5 seniors. These 5 seniors, along with Alex Upaw, who's reserved for them, have been playing together since probably the 2nd grade. And for them to have an opportunity to take the floor all at the same time is a pretty special thing.
Like you mentioned, seniors starting this afternoon for the Bombers. Mason Murphy, Sam Peterson are at the guard positions. Forwards are Kyler Watson and Cade Miller, and down low is Connor Drew. Bombers opened up with a 2-point shot. Wildcats looking to respond with a layup, no good. Rebound by Cade Miller. Murphy takes it in, kicks it over to Watson in the left corner. Murphy finds Miller down low for the layup, no good.
Yeah, really good drive and dish there by Murph. Something that he is really good at. One of the better inside-out hesitation dribbles that you will find on a high school basketball player.
Bombers with the ball, down low again to Miller for the layup, and that time it goes.
Yeah, virtually the same thing, 2 plays in a row there. Miller just did a good job of getting that one right where he needed to on the glass.
Bombers coming off a huge win in the Raccoon River Conference last night against Carroll. 56-38 was the final score. Leads to a tie. Well, technically they're 1 game ahead due to playing 1 more game this season in the Raccoon River Conference, but virtually tied in the standings for conference-wise. And we mentioned this during the girls' game, but playing a back-to-back, one of the more tougher aspects of a season. What goes through a player or even coach's mind when you get ready for a game, especially when you got a back-to-back?
Yeah, so we talked about a little bit at first game, but it's mostly mental. You just got to prepare yourself to play 2 in a row.
Great shot.
Yeah, great stroke there by Murph. He's just been shooting it really, really well this year. He's been doing everything well this year. But yeah, you gotta mentally prepare to play 2 days in a row. But the thing you worry about specifically in their situation is, you're playing for the conference lead last night, and you go in and play really well, and you kind of put it to a really, really, really good team on the road, and then you come home to play a team that maybe doesn't have quite as many wins. So you're worried about a letdown. Early on, I would say that is not going to be a factor, but hopefully they can keep playing hard. But that's the main thing you want to come out and do on a day like this, is just play hard, and then everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Osterhaus for the Wildcats with that last bucket. Bombers get it into Miller. Miller draws another foul.
Yeah, so you
Oh, they call an offensive foul?
apparently. I like the design. You have Drew on the ball side, and he's backpedaling to kind of draw some people away, and then you step in another 6'6" guy to try and get a lob at the middle of the rim, and they're saying that Miller put his hands on the guy in front of him when he went to go for that pass. So.
And another foul called against the Bombers. Last game we were broadcasting was against Boone, and it was, I think, the first time this season I saw a lineup where Cade Miller, Connor Drew, and Cale Croak were all on the same on the floor at the same time. And you would think, well, you got 3 big men that that are really strong inside. I think Cade's got a good stroke from 3, so does Connor. So you'd be like, that's a great lineup to have, especially with spreading the floor with 2 big guys that can drive it in as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recall watching that game as well. And one of the things that makes really difficult for opponents is when they get into that matchup zone and you have 3 guys on the baseline who are all 6'6" or taller, and they can cover corner to corner really well. They're all long, they're all athletic. So it was an interesting lineup for sure, and I can sure see why it would have its advantages.
Bombers with the ball after the travel call. 3:53 left in the first quarter. Watson with the ball. Finds
nice.
Drew inside, and it's an offensive foul.
I love that set though. It's I think Coach calls it double maybe, but it's a set very similar to what we ran back in the day. We called it muskie, where you double screen on the baseline against the zone, run a guy the corner, and then you seal down on the middle guy in the zone. And that bottom guy on that 2-3 has got to pick what he wants to do. Does he want to stay and cover middle, or does he want to cover the 3 in the corner? And then you just read it, and there's always going to be a guy open. Great little set.
Wildcats with the ball. On the right side, Drew defending. Drew from behind blocks it, but then offensive rebound for the Wildcats in the layup by CJ Whistler.
Yeah, he did a great job of sticking with that. Connor with a really nice block.
Murph tried to give it to Miller, was tipped around. Drew recovers and puts it up and in. Wildcats with the ball. 2:55 left in the first quarter. And a tough pass goes out of bounds and it'll be Bombers ball. Cale Krogh and Ashton Herman check in for the Bombers. Going more of a shorter lineup now for Ballard.
Yeah, only one 6'6" guy on the court now.
And that's the big guy, Cale Krogh down low. But it opens up shooting around the perimeter as pretty much everyone on the court at the guards and forwards positions can shoot it. And Sam Peterson with a great athletic offensive rebound.
Yeah. Good ball movement right here.
Murphy takes it to the hoop.
Oh.
No good. And a foul on the rebound against Cale Krogh.
Yeah, so Murph is so good at getting in the paint on that, and he literally had his option there. I think, you know, he's got a 2-footer, or he could have left it for Cale Krogh for a 2-footer, but Murph will make that runner more times than not.
And I've mentioned this a bunch of that last possession, Peterson made that huge offensive rebound to help set up a great shot inside. It didn't go, but it was a great effort for that offensive rebound as
Absolutely.
that shot goes for the Wildcats. The jersey number is similar to the guy I'm going to compare, but my senior year we had a guy named Reese Hewen, who that's exactly who Sam Peterson is as a player, just effort plays as Herman makes that 15-footer. But when watching this team play, I see a lot of Reese Hewen and Sam Peterson on how he plays.
That's a great comp. Other than the fact that Reese was a lefty,
Yeah.
they are both two of the better defenders to come through here in recent memory. They do a lot of little things. They can both make the open three. They're both unselfish. They're both great athletes. Both really good baseball players.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the comps go down and down. Sam's probably got a little bit of a leg up athletically as he's a Division I baseball player going to University of Iowa, and he's also a baseball prospect. So that's kind of a cool thing for him.
Wildcats with the ball after the Bombers missed shot.
Yeah, a couple nice possessions in a row here for Carlisle. There's another one.
A great cut and a great find for the Wildcats.
Yep, really good cut. Ballard there trailing the cutter down the lane, which is a huge no-no. And Carlisle executes it well, gets themselves a layup.
Wildcats a little bit with a little momentum. Bombers looking to end that with a bucket. Great effort by Peterson to save that. Murphy takes it in, finds Krogh. It was tipped out of bounds and it remained Bombers ball.
Carlisle playing with a lot of energy. Their bench is really into it. They're really excited. That's what you need coming into a road game in this conference.
And a lob from Murphy is turned over. Wildcats with the numbers on the fast break. Great effort by Krogh to help on that fast break stop. Herman on the other end tried to slam it down, no good. Murphy with the offensive rebound. He puts up a really tough shot. Krogh comes up with the offensive rebound, puts it up, count it, and one.
Yeah, that's an area of Cale's game that just has been so consistent over the years. He's so good at getting an O board, keeping it in a high position. Has great hands and feet. I saw him make a play last night at Carroll where Connor Drew hit him with a ball cutting down the lane, and it was a little out in front of him, so he tipped it in the air, then tipped it with his other hand, gathered it up, and then still had the footwork and presence of mind to get it on the glass where it needs to go. I mean, that's a tough play for anyone, let alone a big man. And so, you can see why Division I schools are so interested in him to play offensive tackle, because his hands and feet are so good.
And his mobility is just amazing for a big man and his size.
Yeah.
You see a player like him, you'd think of like a kind of like Shaquille O'Neal athleticism, not necessarily like the fastest guy, but he's like one of the first persons down the court on a fast break or trying to stop a fast break.
Yeah, and that's pure effort. Pure effort on his part. That was a good look there. Great throw by Eiley.
That'll do it for the first quarter. Bombers lead 13-8 against the Carlisle Wildcats.
Yeah, I think going back to Cale, I think one of the things that I loved about coaching him is his motor is nonstop. First of all, his attitude is
the best.
Superior.
Yeah.
It's elite. He will look at you in the eye, say yes sir. You know, you just say, hey, I need you to run over there and go through that wall and then come back and post up, and he'd be like, yes sir, and just go do it. I mean, he just does things 100%. He does them the right way. You know, and that comes from, parenting. You know, like his parents have done a phenomenal job with him, but you just love having a kid like that on your team, because he's gonna give max effort all the time. Then you couple that with he's athletic, he's big, you know, and it's just a huge recipe for success.
Mm-hmm. And I know this year, especially next year when he steps in that senior spotlight, but his leadership on the court, whenever like a player's getting down or something like that, you see him trying to pick him back up. I know you preach don't palms up or don't have your head hanging down low. And he's that kind of player that helps a team, that if they're struggling with something, he's always there to help.
Yep. Absolutely.
Wildcats with the ball. On the court for the Bombers to start the quarter, Isaiah Peasley, Ashton Herman, Jacob Eiley, Connor Drew, and Cale Krogh.
Herman getting his hands on a ball out front. Get used to seeing that tonight. If you've not watched the Bombers play a lot, Ashton Herman probably gets around 5 steals a game and just disrupts things for offenses nonstop. Actually, I see he's down around 4 steals a game now.
Yeah. Great little inbound play right there to get an easy 2 from Connor Drew.
Yeah, and Connor did a nice job there keeping the ball high. When you're in close to the rim like that, that's always good strategy. When you're bigger, you bring it down, and all of a sudden smaller guys can defend you.
Another steal for the Bombers. Peasley fires a 3 in transition, gets it to go. Isaiah Peasley with the 3, and a timeout called by the Wildcats.
Isaiah Peasley, really, really good 3-point shooter for the Bombers. Last night I watched him make 3 over at Carroll. You know, if you look at it, his percentage is insane. So it was going into last night's game, he was at about 48.8% from 3. And then I watched him go 3 for 4 last night, and now he's 1 for 1. So it's safe to say he's well over 50% from the 3-point line, which, you know, and if that could hold up, if he could hold that up, he could be looking at a school record.
Oh yeah, Max Stoltz is the current record holder for a season, right?
Yes, I believe so. And that's, if you watch him shoot, if you watch his feet are the same every time. If you watch him shoot in warm-ups and you watch him shoot in a game, you watch him shoot there, he's sprinting the floor in a transition situation, catching it. His feet are exactly the same on every shot he takes. And that is consistency that's been developed over thousands and thousands of hours and thousands of shots in a gym by himself, or most likely with his dad. And that's just a tremendous credit to his work ethic. I mean, people don't just show up and be able to do that. Mm-hmm. That is not natural. It takes hours and hours of work. He's put it in, and that's why he's on the verge of setting a school record.
Wildcats with the ball after the timeout. 6:32 left in the half. 18-8 is the score here. And a 15-footer is no good. A rebound by Connor Drew.
Really tough shot there. You know, decent hand up on that shot, and he had to fade a little bit to get it off.
There's Peasley again. No good this time. A rebound to the Wildcats. Yeah, I remember watching some of his first few minutes on the varsity team last year. Yeah, checked in against Bondurant Farrar and just fires his first shot. The first time he touched the ball, fired like from the logo, basically, it felt like. And it got it to go, and I was like, man, this guy can shoot.
Yeah, he's got great range as well, you're right.
Foul inside. I think that is going to be on Isaiah Peasley.
He got in a little bit of foul trouble last night, picked up 2 really early.
Oh, it's on Connor Drew. That's his second.
That's significant. Looks like coach is going to leave him in. Let him play with it, see what he can do here.
And a tough turnover for the Wildcats right there.
Yeah, you know, those are plays that's got to drive Coach Buell nuts. Just, you know, you're just thinking, okay, we got opportunity to get a good shot here. In out of bounds plays to me were always great opportunities to score. There's a nice lob play.
Oh, almost gets it to go.
Ball was just a little bit too hard on a line. Just needed a little bit more air under it maybe. Connor just couldn't quite corral it. That's a great job by Connor Drew coming to meet that pass at half court.
Herman tried to get it in between 2 Wildcat players. Goes out of bounds, so it'll remain Bombers ball.
Yeah, that's love that little lob play, that zone lob play. Really difficult to defend, especially when you can run it from different sets. What a pass there by Isaiah Peasley to Connor Drew. Just years of playing together there, making eye contact. Connor going up, getting in, great finish.
The way this team plays together is just amazing. They know exactly where everybody's strengths are, especially when making the extra pass to find someone wide open for their sweet spot. And Connor Drew down low is one of the closest things to automatic as there is in high school basketball.
Yes, indeed.
Wildcats with the ball. Great double team by Krogan. Drew forcing pressure, has to throw it off of Drew's leg. Wildcats will remain with the ball.
Yeah, smart play by Whistler there in a tough situation. Couple big guys surrounding you, throw it off the leg, get a you know, save the possession, get a sideline out of bounds.
4:45 left in the half. 21-8 is the score in favor of your Bombers.
Looks like the Bombers sticking to man. Carlisle running some basic motion, down screen, trying to run a guy baseline. Just trying to get the ball reversed, trying to keep it moving.
That's great effort right there by
Colby Calvert recently checked in, yeah.
I don't know why he escaped my mind for a second there, but great effort right there. Forced a jump ball, gives the Bombers the possession. The Bombers have a lot of players on the bench that can create different plays on the defensive side, especially a great pass from Eiley to Drew down low for that bucket. Calvert, Eiley, Peterson, just great defensive. Like normally you bring off your like shooting spark or something like a Peasley off the bench, but he normally starts for the Bombers this year. As that 3 rattles in for the Wildcats. Awesome. Osterhaus with that 3. Almost comes up with the steal as well. Out of bounds, and it'll remain Bombers ball. But going back to what I was saying, but yeah, you usually have like your spark off the bench be a 3-point shooter or something like that, but Bombers have 3 great defenders coming off the bench, which is huge, especially if there's foul issues between some players.
Right. So you got guys that can come in like that. Nice play, nice drive there by Murph. But when you have guys that can come in and defend, then you're not gonna lose anything at all. Like maybe they won't score at the same clip, but you're not going to give anything up. So you're very confident putting them in, and then as a season wears on, guys traditionally will get better offensively as the season wears on because they're getting more reps. You know, you get to the point in February where you're like, okay, I've been practicing since the second week of November. Now I've got a ton of reps shooting the ball, a ton of reps running whatever coach wants them to run offensively, and now they're more confident offensively, and all of a sudden, you know, it's a whole different thing, because now these guys that were known as just defenders can now play a little bit at the offensive end too, and it just makes your team so much better, so much deeper.
And a great example of that is last year's team, Cade Reinerson, great defender, didn't normally shoot the ball that much, but first round, I don't remember who was it, center pointer
Banna,
and hit 4 threes, I think. I
remember 3 in a row,
it was just
and they were all 3 from the NBA line. It was crazy. It was that was fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
And he knew, like he shot it with so much confidence, like he knew it was in before it even went through.
Free throw right there by Eiley is good. 27-11 is the score. 2:55 left in the half. I am pretty sure, about 90% sure, there is a dance team performance at the half, so we'll provide coverage for that.
Well, there either will be or there won't be,
yeah.
Brock. It'll be one of those two.
And a travel called. Bombers ball. Cade Miller checks back in for Jacob Eiley.
We'll see what looks like the Wildcats are in a 2-3, but they're stacked at the top. So they're trying to take away the high post. So they stack their guards, and then they just rotate them like on a reversal. The bottom guy will cover out, the top guy will sink, take that free throw area like you see right there. So that's a little bit different version of a 2-3 zone. That's a great little seal by Cade.
Got a nice look.
Yeah.
Gets the bucket to fall.
Outstanding entry pass by Isaiah Peasley. You know, we talk about Isaiah's ability to shoot, but he is such a smart player. He just, like understanding that ball needed to go to Cade right there to take advantage of what the defense was giving him. He's just really, really smart. High-level IQ guy.
Bombers with the ball after the Wildcat turnover.
Yeah, this is our 1-3-1, our 13 zone set.
Calvert over to Murphy in the left corner. Behind the back to Peasley for 3, no good. Offensive rebound by Drew. He usually puts it back up, and he does. Count it in 1, and he will go to the line.
Yeah, really good finish there. Kind of spinning to the middle of the lane, but then holding it back in his right hand, being able to get the ball up over the defender and taking the hit on the forearm.
Free throw's no good.
No, he won't be happy about that. It's an area he's greatly improved over the years, is his free throw shooting. That and his three-point shooting. His three-point shooting his last 2 years has just been outstanding.
And having that ability to shoot the 3 helps spread the Bombers out on the offensive end. Wildcats with the ball, 1:28 left in the half. Steal for the Bombers. Peasley gives it up to Murphy. He puts up a tough shot. It gets blocked. Battle for the rebound. Wildcats come up with it.
Yeah, spacing on that break, not great. You know, Peasley and Murphy were running so close to each other that one defender was able to kind of get in between them. Ideally, early on in the break, you'd want to space it out a little bit more.
What a move right there.
Yeah, kind of like that break there. You had 2 wide wings. You had a ball handler coming down the middle, and Connor Drew Euro steps right to the front of the rim. And seeing that play reminds me so much of 2 years ago when we were playing Knoxville in the first round of the tournament. We played here, and Connor had like 30, 32, or 34 points, and I watched him do that numerous times to Knoxville, coming down on the break, and it just that just brought back memories for me right there. That's a great move.
I have a highlight I remember against Knoxville of him doing that. I remember getting that on my camera that I recorded it. It was one of the nicest, smoothest like Euro finishes I've ever seen, and he's been able to perfect that move a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, that is definitely something that he does well on the break. And if you were watching last possession at the defensive end, just to talk a little bit more about Connor, he did a great job of getting out, moving his feet, and guarding the perimeter. And that's an area of his game that people don't talk about or think about much, is he can get out and guard on the perimeter. And for a guy that's 6'6", 6'7", you know, 200 and some pounds, I mean, that's a huge advantage to be able to do that.
And great steal right there by Herman. 28 seconds left. Peterson drives in, finds Miller. Miller puts it up, draws a foul, and he'll go to the line. Man, Miller's been putting in work down low in the last couple games.
He's found a home there in that short corner, that's for sure. You know, sometimes an area that, you know, like I know Coach Hoiberg at Nebraska, he refers to that as your room, and that's kind of a term that we adopted too. And just staying in his room down there, he's underneath all the defense. They kind of lose track of him, forget he's there, and then you get a guard that can drive it and leave it for him, and you get a lot of good looks in that position.
Second free throw for Miller is no good. Rebound of the Wildcats. 24 seconds left. Bombers applying a little bit of pressure. That should be a backcourt violation. But they call a foul. The foul should have been called, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had all 3 points across yet or not. I couldn't really see with all the people trying to get to the basketball there.
15 seconds. Wildcats get a 15-footer, no good. Rebound by Peasley. Bombers have enough time to get a shot off. 5 seconds. Herman takes to the hoop, inside hand finish, no good. Rebound by Miller. And then the Wildcats come up with a turnover. Shot is no good, and that will do it for the first half.
Great take to the rim there by Ashton Herman. He went hard and made a decisive made a good decision to get to the rim instead of settling for a jumper. Just wasn't able to finish it, but that was a great take.
Bombers lead 34-11 heading into halftime. We do have a performance by some of the members of the Ballard dance team, so we will tune it down to center court and watch the performance. We'll be right back after the performance to talk a little bit about the game and sub-state they call it divisions or pairings, I guess, sub-state pairings. So we'll be right back.
You want to go outside? Why not cancel? You know I will stay in this charming old glass front to keep you safe and sound. Guess I always knew this day was coming. When that's who you want to leave the mouse. So I hush, trust me, Mother knows best. Mother knows best.
Great performances by 2 members of the Ballard dance team. So we're getting close to postseason play. Sub-state pairings were announced, and we're going to talk a little bit about at least the area that the Bombers got picked in for postseason play.
Yeah, so if you go to the Iowa High School Athletic Association, click on the basketball tab, and you can go right to the 3A sub-states, and the Bombers land in sub-state number 7. So you have Ballard, Bondurant, Carlisle, Gilbert, Nevada, North Polk, Sadell, and Winterset. So if you look across the sub-states, you know, when you're originally thinking, you know, if you're Coach Schertz, you're thinking, well, all right, there are certain teams we'd really love to avoid. I mean, we probably don't want to play Pella. We probably don't want to play DCG, just to name a couple, you know, and I'm sure there's probably a couple more. But, you know, maybe even want to avoid ADM. I mean, you've beaten them twice, but they were both tough wins. And ADM maybe, and I don't know, I'm just thinking maybe is a bad matchup for us. Maybe that's why they played us tough twice, because their record's not that great, but they've played us tough. So maybe even you want to even avoid them. Well, you got to look at this and say, mission accomplished, right? I mean, none of them are in there.
And, well, not just that, like some of the pairings, the Bombers have had some easy wins or some dominating wins against some teams in that conference, like Bondurant Farrar. They had a big win against them, 70-35 a couple weeks ago. Earlier in the season, they beat them 79-54. Carlisle, they've played actually pretty well today against the Bombers. The score doesn't really show how good their effort has been on the court.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just it's one of those things where, you know, there's a couple of unknowns. We've not seen Nevada, we've not seen Sadell, but just looking at it, breaking it down, I would say Winterset's probably the second best team in there. I think obviously Ballard's the best team in that sub-state. Winterset, you know, is a team that we had down 16 or 18 points here at home, and then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, it was like a single-digit game, and it got real interesting there for a little bit, and we ended up winning by 14 or 15. But
final of that was 80-60. So, like, it's one of those games where, like, the scoreboard doesn't reflect how close the game actually was heading into the end.
Yeah, because I think it was it the fourth quarter? It was down to like 3 or 5 points or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But if you look at some of the other sub-states, like I look at sub-state number 1 that Carroll got put into, and if I'm them, I am not pleased, because you're playing traditional powerhouse Sioux City Heelan. You've got Denison in there. Lamar's is in the top 10. MOC Floyd Valley, always good. Okay, and then Sergeant Bluff Luton has been really good the last few years. I mean, that's a really tough sub-state. And if you're a team like Carroll that's been ranked in the top 5 all year, you got to look at that and go, what did we do wrong?
Yeah, that's a very, just hearing some of those names, some of them had trips to the state tournament in the last couple of years, so it's going to be a very tough sub-state. Carroll always makes it competitive. They usually at least get to it seems like they always get to the sub-state championship game. I don't know when's the last time they've made the state tournament for sure, but they're always competitive in postseason for sure.
I think it's maybe been mid-2000s, like maybe 2010, 2012, somewhere in there is the last time they made a trip to Des Moines. So, you know, I love talking about this stuff and kind of breaking it down. And one of the things that's always been interesting to me the last few years is there's been talk of changing the state tournament the Coaches Association has been heavily involved in suggesting different things like super regional type of things where you would say, okay, we're going to take 4 teams and send them to this site and they're going to play there over the course of a weekend, more like an NCAA tournament feel. So you would have, once you get to like the Sweet 16, that's basically considered the state tournament, but those games may take place off site. Like for example, you'd have 4 teams playing at the Knapp Center, 4 teams playing at, in Cedar Rapids or what, at Hilton or wherever. And
that'd
then
be honestly an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, and then you'd get an opportunity to practice on that court and then play a game. And then if you win, then like let's say you played on a Friday night and won, then Sunday you'd play, the 2 winners would play. You'd get a practice opportunity again. It'd have a real NCAA tournament feel. And then the Final 4 would then go to Des Moines and play at Wells Fargo. I think that would be a really cool way to do it. And I think you'd increase attendance and, because some of those first round games at Wells Fargo, for example, the Iowa City West, you get Iowa City West in the state tournament, and people aren't driving from Iowa City for a first round game that they're going to win by 35 points.
Yeah.
They're just not going to happen. So if you played a super regional or something like that in the Cedar Rapids area, you'd be a lot more likely to get fans to go. And so that's kind of the theory behind it. It's not really materialized over the years, but I think it would be cool.
Murph misses the first free throw after the foul. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. And, they could honestly make more revenue as well, from streaming stuff. Because if they're all in one area, you could just charge for every game or something like that. I'm not trying to promote the association to make more money, but, of course you want to make more money.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing that if that would happen, how it would shape out.
Yeah, I think it would be fun for kids too, and ultimately that's what they need to look at is what's the best experience for kids. And if you, to me, making the Sweet 16 has always been a heck of an accomplishment. You get so many teams that get to that game and to come up short of making it to the Elite 8 and to the state tournament. And it's like that 16. I mean, when you're one of 16 teams left in the state, no matter what class you're in, that's a heck of an accomplishment. And I would like to see that maybe honored a little bit more.
And like you mentioned, the experience or whatever with either playing at the Knapp Center or possibly playing in the McLeod Center or Carver. Just creating that everlasting experience for high school athletes as a whole could be a cool thing to add on.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I just look at our experiences over the years where we've gotten to play at a Marshalltown Roundhouse or, a Southeast Polk, and I'm thinking, how cool would that be to play at the Knapp Center, and have it be like a tournament weekend type feel. And wow, really nice pass. A couple nice plays in a row by Connor Drew. He went after that O board on that last series really hard, got a nice putback, and then right there just sticking with that little mini lob there and getting it to go.
Wildcats with the ball here for 5:40 left in the third, 39-11 Bombers lead.
Strong start to the second half for the Bombers, just looking really aggressive, just rebounding hard, running hard, really good outlets.
Murphy for 3, misses that one. Yeah, that was a great pass right there by Drew, leading Murphy to that 3-point shot.
Nice little spin and basket. Oh, just rolled out for him, but great look there by Osterhaus.
He's played really well for the Wildcats today. Bombers with the ball. This is 3 seconds call. I think this is the starters that they had for the beginning of the game. All starters were seniors.
Yeah, I talked, had a chance to visit with Coach Jordan Buell of the Carlisle Wildcats, and one of the things they've struggled with this year is they lost a guard, Tyson Guard actually is his name, to a hip injury. and that's been really tough on them. You know, and then he was their only returning starter.
Oh.
So, you know, you take a team where I thought last year in his first season, both times I saw his team play, I was impressed, like with the stuff they run, how they act on the court, the body language, just everything I was impressed with. And I remember telling him that at the all-conference meeting. I was really impressed with his guys. Well, then, you know, you just start to build something, and then all of a sudden you only have one starter back, and then he gets injured. So really tough go this year for them. But his story, Coach Buell's story is really interesting. And we can get into that here in a little bit.
Drew plays great defense, offense, rebound, and a foul on that putback attempt for the Wildcats, and they will go to the line.
So Coach Buell, this is his 6th season in basketball overall, 2nd season as the head coach, but he's an assistant for a few years at Derby High School in Kansas, and was fortunate enough to be on a team that finished 3rd in Class 6A down there. So got some great experience. But when he was an undergrad, he was a basketball manager at Kansas for Bill Self. So said he learned a ton from him, you know, but primarily his job was doing laundry and wiping up sweat and that kind of stuff. But he said, imagine this. Imagine if you're the AD at Carlisle and you're sitting in your office and you know, Seth Poldberg has resigned and went off to North Polk to be the principal, and you're looking for a basketball coach, and you're sitting in your office and your phone rings and you pick it up and the guy says, hey, this is Bill Self, head basketball coach at Kansas University. Got a guy I'd like to recommend for your basketball job. I would think that would probably hold some weight.
Yeah, as an Iowa State fan, that hurts hearing that Bill Self is involved with the coach, but Bill Self's a great coach, so you can't complain about getting a call as a recommendation from NCAA champion Bill Self, as he won in 2008 with the Jayhawks.
Yeah, so I mean, a pretty cool moment there where you know, when you can get a recommendation from Bill Self and then show up and he's an assistant, you know, that previous year I believe, and then becomes the head coach and just has done I think a good job. He's got, that's a really tough play right there, but he's done a really good job with the program, and he's in a similar situation to the Carlisle girls. They have young kids. He's trying to build something, and I think he'll do a nice job. I've always been really impressed with him. I know this season's been tough, but he said his 5 seniors have just done a really, really good job this year of leading by example and being fun to work with every single day.
Honestly, Carlisle is one of my favorite teams to play because they always, whenever we play them, they're just one of the more entertaining teams to watch because they put in a lot of effort on both sides of the ball. And when you look at like the conference, a bunch of the teams are kind of in not necessarily rebuilding mode, but like they're looking for a new look or something like that. There's been some coaching changes with different teams, like Boone with Rusty Hicks, and I know for sure he'll turn that program around, be able to get that team back to competitiveness. And I expect Carlisle too in a couple years will be back where they were, competing with us back and forth.
Yeah, I have no doubt. You don't have to go very far back to find really good Carlisle teams. You know, I mean, you had a well over 1,000-point scorer in Colin Lister, who's playing at Simpson now, that was just there not too long ago, graduated 2019. And, you know, a year before that you had Donovan. Donovan's playing, I believe, Division II basketball in South Dakota. I mean, so they had some really good players. And so the league, you're right, is kind of going through a little bit of a transition. But I agree. I think there's some good young coaches, and I think it's just a matter of time.
That was a great take right there by number 3.
Imhoff.
Yep, Jacob Imhoff. One of the seniors that you mentioned puts a lot of effort and time with this program. You mentioned Colin Lisher, great competitor on the high school basketball court. I remember the game here as Peasley fires a three, almost gets it to fall. Oh, almost a rebound by Krogh. Just packed the gym night. We're not able to do that this year, but we were winning big. And you put in Henry Thompson and Seth Wogemuth. Those are the two players I remember just because of the play. And Seth Wogemuth had a great one-handed pass in between two defenders to Henry Thompson, who was on the backdoor cut for a dunk to seal the game. And that was one of the, I don't know why, but that's just one of those plays that I always replay in my head as one of the cooler moments while broadcasting these games.
Yeah, I recall that play as well. Right down here at this basket that we were just going at. It was that was a fun game. You know, not very many times did we handle Carlisle and blow them out. I mean, it just didn't happen very often. Those surprise blowouts are always the best, though, and that's definitely what that was.
And another great take for the Wildcats, number 12.
Yep, Ryan Peterson, and just a sophomore. Great spin move and finish in the lane by him.
Alex Upaw, who checked in a moment ago for the Bombers with the ball, gives it up to Herman. Back to Upaw.
Great pass.
Down low to Krogh, who puts it in.
I know that looks like a simple post-entry pass, but Alex, first of all, catches the ball and changes levels with it so the defense can't zero in on him. Secondly, he throws the ball to the open hand, leads him right into a basket.
That was another great take by the Wildcats. I think that was 23.
Yep, Wyatt Sobiescata.
Again, it's Wildcats have been playing really well this half, and overall in this whole game they've been playing really well. So, being that they're a very young team, next couple years they might become a threat to the Bombers Raccoon River Conference standings-wise. Herman takes it in, puts up a tough shot, almost gets to go. A rebound by the Wildcats. 24 seconds left in the third quarter. Foul. 2 shots for the Wildcats.
Tough play there by Cale Krogh. Guy's coming right at him. He's literally got both hands up. Guy under the basket does not call it. Guy out front does call it. That's just tough, you know. It's Cale's probably thinking to himself, what am I supposed to do on that?
One of those tough things with inside shots. So hard to tell whether it is a foul or isn't. Usually it is a foul if we're being honest, but.
Well, and it's a great job by Ryan Peterson of being aggressive and just taking it right at the big guy. I mean, to his credit, that's what you got to do to get calls.
That was a great pass fake by Calvert.
Yep.
Peasley for 3, misses it. Rebound by the Wildcats.
A little bit late.
And that'll do it for the third quarter. Bombers lead 43-20 against the Carlisle Wildcats in this Raccoon River Conference battle.
All right, so heading into our last quarter here, looks like we might have an official with an injury. I got trainer Rob Drew on the court speaking with one of the officials who's kind of gimpy on his knee a little bit. I don't know. At this point, do you think we just pull somebody out of the crowd and put the stripes on them?
I mean, I guess why not?
I know who will go. We'll just grab Joe Randleman.
And put him in? Mm-hmm. That'd be a good official right there.
He's sitting down there with his notebook and his camera. Like, I think he could probably. He's seen enough basketball over the years. I think maybe he could fill in.
Oh, most definitely. I would be a terrible official if I'm being honest. Because I would be I feel like I live in the wrong generation because like I'm the kind of guy that kind of likes the hard hits,
the physical play, the old Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah. One like one of my favorite 30 for 30s of all time is that Detroit Pistons Bad Boys, and like just how that team they knew that how they could take advantage of any team.
Here he comes. He gave the trainer the thumbs up. I think he's going to try and give it a go. Just 8 minutes to go here.
Fourth quarter of play. On the court for the Bombers, Mason Murphy, Kyler Watson, Jacob Eiley, Connor Drew, and Cade Miller.
Well, and just nice pass.
Man.
And just to kind of stick with the officials theme for just another second, Kenny Carlson, one of our officials tonight doing the game, this is his last year of officiating high school basketball, and just want to thank Kenny for his service to Iowa high school athletes. For gosh, Kenny's been officiating as long as I coached. I coached for 26 years, and I've known Kenny that whole time. And Kenny used to work down at and might still down at Housby Mack Trucks on East 14th, and just a good guy, and known him for a long time. And so congratulations to Kenny on a great career, and hope he has an enjoyable time doing his last few games here this season.
Yeah, the amount of work and stress of the officiating job is brutal sometimes, especially in close games. And we appreciate all the officials that work for the Iowa High School Athletic Association and do different events. Even like AAU officials, they take time out of their weeks to do what they love best, I guess. So appreciate all the officials out there. Murphy for three, no good.
Really nice play at the other end by Max Mitchell on that last possession. He caught that ball at the elbow, didn't even hesitate, in rhythm, great looking shot, really nice touch, and it was nothing but net. So really nice job by him. He's another one of those seniors on that Carlisle squad that's just been doing a great job all year.
Bombers are on defense. Great play by the Wildcats right there to get an open layup on the right side.
Mitchell doing it all right now. He's scoring. He's dropping dimes around the basket, and now he's talking on defense, pointing out guys that need guarded. Just really doing a nice job for Coach Buell right now.
Tip, and should be Bombers ball. It is. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, it's only a 20-point game, so like, granted in high school it's a little tougher to come back from a 20-point deficit, but it's doable.
That's a wow. That's a great play. So Drew screens in on the bottom of that zone, and they run a guy to the corner. The bottom guy on the zone battles to get over that screen, and Connor just slips it, catches it right there. I would need to see that again to figure out why that's a charge.
They called it jump ball.
Oh, they did. Okay. That makes a little more sense.
It was not necessarily a foul, so they called it was definitely a tie-up. But that was a great play as well. But Jacob Eiley was wide open on the left corner for three. I don't know if you saw that. But
I did not.
The defense didn't see him either, because they were so focused on Connor Drew. Because that's kind of one of the big looks that the Bombers always do on inbounds plays, is looking for Drew down low. Foul called off of the rebound. Looks like it'll be on the Wildcats, so the Bombers will take it underneath the bucket.
Love to see Kyler Watson get one of those threes to drop.
He's had a bunch of open ones this season. Just hasn't. Has he hit one this year?
Well, he's 25% from three.
So he's hit at least one. Murphy thought about the three on the inbounds. He gives it up to Connor Drew. Drew to Murphy. Over to you, Pa.
Oh, great pass, Alex.
Down low, shot no good, but Drew will go to the line for 2 free throws. Another great pass from Alex Upaw.
Yeah, Alex is one of those kids that just loves being on the team. He loves being involved. His role is not one that shows up on the court every week, but his role takes place from the bench in practice. Guys like that are invaluable. Alex is extremely coachable, always does things the way you ask him to do them, and has a positive attitude. He's extremely involved in scouting reports and yelling out stuff from the bench and helping his teammates. Just so cool to see him get on the court and get some court time and get rewarded for all the hard work that he does.
He almost wanted to go up for a charge right there. I know he was getting ready for it. Bombers with the ball.
I'd like to see him get a look here from the perimeter.
Peterson takes it in, tough shot, no good. And rebound by Peterson.
I was talking to Alex in the office the other day, and I said, Alex, you get that opportunity on the wing, you know, fake that reversal pass, get that defense to shift, and just light that thing up. And he has a big smile on his face, you know, and he's just such a team-first guy. He's always going to look for, like, you've seen him twice here. Once entry pass to Krogh, and then once an entry pass to Connor Drew. Like he just thinks pass first. That's just his mentality. He's just an unselfish guy.
It reminds me a lot of Seth Wogemuth with the kind of player he was to the team with scouting and being a great person on the bench to have so you can rely on.
I'll never forget that senior night when Seth was a starter, and we worked the ball on offense for a long stretch of time, and then Seth ends up with the ball kind of in a short corner area, has an opportunity to drive or shoot, but instead whips a pass to Isaiah cutting down the lane, and we get a layup out of it. I mean, that's just the kind of guy he was too. You're exactly right.
Free throw from Drew was no good. Wildcats with the ball. 5 minutes left in the ball game. Wildcats get it in. Tough pass, stolen away by Peterson. Peterson draws contact, no foul called, shot's no good.
Yeah, tough play there. Just tried to wedge it up between two guys right there. Good job, Ballard, getting back into some good transition D, but heck of a runner right there. Tyson Guard, who's been hurt a big chunk of this season, and comes back, gets a nice runner to go there.
Upaw with the ball, gives it over to Drew, shot fake drive. Oh, if that was a little bit better of a pass, that probably would have been the chance for a three.
Right back to him. Nice cut there.
Drew fires a long three. Doesn't get that one to fall. Great effort by Peterson, but it was a foul, so it'll be Wildcats ball.
And as we learned from Jeff Junker during the halftime interview of the girls' game, that is not over the back. Over the back does not exist. It's a push, if anything. It's always fun when you go to games, especially AAU games, and people are screaming, that's over the back. Well, over the back's not actually a call. You can jump up over someone and get the ball all you want, but if you push them or impede them or dislocate their positioning, then it's foul.
I remember when I used to play middle school and AAU games, there would be games, as jump ball is called, Bombers ball, where I wouldn't have to move. I would just reach over and grab the ball, and I would get called for it, and I would walk up. There was one time I just walked up to an official and I just asked, is it because I'm tall? Like, because there's some times where it's like, doesn't look like they make a lot of contact, but in reality, it's the lower body that pushes the player off of them, so.
Yep, you are correct. You are correct. It happens all the time. I've always maintained that big guys sometimes get fouls called on just because they're big, and guys tend to bounce off of them a little more and stuff when you're in the paint, and it's not like they're pushing people or things like that. It's just sometimes it's just natural contact, and they get penalized for it.
Eiley's free throw is good. One-on-one opportunity, so he will get a second one here.
think if memory serves correct, he's 3 for 3 right now. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him. Ooh.
Oh, close.
All right, 4 for 4. Good night from the line for Eiley.
Wildcats with the ball.
Improve on his 75% free throw shooting.
It's a good percentage to be shooting free throws at. Wildcats get a good look for 2.
Yep, really good ball movement. Ryan Peterson, he's a good-looking sophomore. I tell you, I like we've been talking about, I really think they've got some nice young players, just like their girls program does.
Eiley takes it in, no good, but there's Cale Krogh again to recover the ball, puts it up and in.
Yeah, he just that is you can't draw that up. Like when you say, hey, if you get an offensive rebound, this is what I want you to do with it. It's to a T. And then the thing that Cale also will do is if he doesn't have that look on an offensive board, he'll find somebody on the perimeter with it for an open shot.
He is, I might be just completely like blowing this out of proportion. He reminds me a lot of Adam Woodbury, if I'm being honest. He's that guy that just like down low is just always a pest to get the ball. And then like every once in a while he has like those big games where all he's getting is offensive rebounds.
Yeah, and you know, he's another positive comp on that same line is he's a really good defender. Like he can really get out and guard the ball screen, rebounds well, he's physical. So if he does have one major difference though, and that is I haven't seen him poke anybody in the eye.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't think he. Yeah.
That might be a little unfair to Adam, as I can't think all of those at least were intentional.
Krogh will go to the line after drawing a foul.
Well, this is an area for Cale where he's really worked. And I've really noticed one of the things he's done is he's changed his free throw stroke from the last couple years. He used to bring the ball way back over his head, and now he keeps it a little bit more in front. If he would just lift it just a little bit more, I think he could become a really good free throw shooter. That one actually looked pretty good right there.
It's one of those things that he's definitely putting a lot of work in and got some room for improvement as well. Wildcats with the ball, 2:25 left in the fourth quarter. Long three, no good. Tipped around and Eiley comes up with it for the Bombers. Wildcats get the steal. They have the numbers and a great take by Osterhaus. Watson over to Calvert. Colby looking to give it up. Cross court to Watson.
Well, I thought Watson was going to eye one there.
Looks
That's
like
nice.
He's ready.
That's a good look. You know, the lower you get the ball against a 2-3 zone, it'll flatten that zone out, and you'll get those cross court or diagonal skip pass looks, or even a low-high look. So I like that. I like that ball movement, getting the ball down there to that short corner area. Right there, it flattens it and creates cutting options just like that.
That shot by Eiley wasn't good. Wildcats with the ball.
Yeah, tough spin move there. You got all kinds of height down there, but like I said, I like his game. I think he's a nice little player. He's a sophomore. I think he's got a good career ahead of him. He's got 2 solid years left.
Bombers with the ball. Around 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. 52-32 is the score. Watson fires a three. No good. Rebound by Miller, and he puts it up and in. Man, Cade Miller, I mentioned this earlier, but the last few games, he's starting to get a feel for his shot, especially down low.
Yep, he's in double figures for the Bombers tonight. Great job by him. And he'll have a few more opportunities down the stretch here to just solidify and deepen that Ballard bench heading into sub-state play.
52 seconds left. Cade Miller to the line for one. Gets to go. 55-32 is the score here. Well, it looks like the Bombers are going to win this one. Improve to 11-1 in conference play, 13-1 overall. The lone loss to Carroll, which was in overtime by 1 point. Next game, they play Gilbert at home. That'll be a competitive game as well. Great reverse layup by Cale Krogh.
And that's a great example right there. He made that look so easy, and that is not easy. That is great hands and feet, good pass, great finish.
And nice shot right there by the Wildcats.
Yep. Mitchell, again, he's had a real solid second half. I can see why Jordan's so happy with his seniors this year, and they just play hard, and they're good examples to the other kids.
And that will do it. Your Bombers win 57-34 to officially tie record-wise overall with Carroll in the Raccoon River Conference for the #1 spot. Thank you, Chris Deason, for stepping in the booth today for Chase Winterbore. And thanks Troy Vasey, Zach Bradfield, and Carson Colt for helping out with the more technical side of the live streams.
Yeah, it was enjoyable to step in, and always fun to call games for the Bombers. And I think over at home next Tuesday.
Yep, against Gilbert.
I actually have to work that night. I've signed a 10-day contract to coach our freshman boys, and coached my first game in 2 years last night over at Carroll with the freshman boys, and had a blast. And I get to coach them again on Tuesday at home, and then Coach Weeks will be back in the saddle on next Wednesday.
Well, good luck on Tuesday, and thank you everybody that tuned into this afternoon's game. Bombers get the win on both girls and boys side. We'll be back next Tuesday against Gilbert for another Raccoon River Conference game. Thank you for tuning in, and as always,